Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of the Education College Palghar. I am Last sir, and today we are going to complete very important topics regarding the chapter 8. It is a respiration and the circulation in the part 5. So let's start today's lecture.
Blood vessels are the channels or the conducts through the blood which distributed the whole blood circulation towards the body tissue. These vessels make up the two closed system of a tubes which begins and end at the heart. One system, the pulmonary vessels, transported blood from the right ventricle to the lungs and back to the left atrium. And the other system, it is a systemic vessel, carries blood from the left ventricle to the tissues in all the parts of the body and then returns back to the blood in the right atrium. It is based on the structure and the functions. So the blood vessels are classified as arteries, vein, and the very much minute vessels are the capillaries. So let's start with the arteries. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. So the pulmonary arteries transport the blood that has a very low oxygen content and from the right ventricle to the lungs. In systemic arteries transport oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to the blood of the tissue. This blood is pumped from the ventricle into the large elastic arteries that are branched repeatedly into the smaller and smaller arteries. So until the branching results the microscopic arteries, it is known as the arterioles. These arterioles plays a key role in the regulating of the blood flow into the tissue capillaries. Approximately 10% of the total blood volume in the systemic arterial system, it is in a given time. The artery wall of the oxygenated blood consists of three layers. Innermost layer, it is a tunica, intima or interna. Simply it is made of the squamous epithelium surrounded by the connective tissue and the basal membrane with elastic fibers. In the middle layer, the tunica media, it is primarily smooth muscles and usually it is thickened in layer. It has a very much smaller lumen size. It is not only provides the supports the vessel, but it changes vessel diameter to regulate blood flow and blood pressure. The outermost layer, it is known as tunica externa, which is attached to the vessels to the surrounding tissue. It is known as also the tunica adventitia. This layer is made up with the connective tissue with a varying amount of the elastic and collagenous fibers. This connective tissue in the layer, it is quite dense whereas it adjacent to the tunica media, but it changes to the loose connective tissue nearby the periphery of this vessel. Let's see the vein. The veins carries blood towards the heart. After blood passes through the capillaries, it enters the smallest veins. It is called venules. From these venules, it flows into the progressively larger and larger vein until it reaches to the heart. In the pulmonary circuit, the pulmonary veins transport blood from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart, and this blood has a high oxygen content because it has just been oxygenated in the lungs. The systemic vein transported blood from the body of the tissue to the right atrium of the heart. This blood has a reduced oxygen content because the oxygen has been used in the metabolic activities in the tissue cells. The wall of the vein have a same three layers as we seen in the arteries. This veins makes the wall vein thicker in those arteries, which is related to the fact of the blood in the vein has less pressure than the arteries. So the because of this wall of the vein are thinner and this rigid than arteries. Veins can be hold more blood because of lumen size. Almost 70% of the total blood volume it is in the vein at any given time. Let's see the capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest and the most numerous of blood vessels, and they are minute in size, and they are forming the network connection between the vessels that carries the blood away from the heart or the arteries. The vessel that return blood from the heart, that means through the veins, the primary function of these capillaries is to exchange of the material between the blood and the tissue, as you can see in the diagram. So the capillaries distribution is varies with the metabolic activity of the blood tissue. These tissues such as the skeletal muscle, liver, kidney, etc. have a extensive capillary network because they are metabolically active and they require abundant amount of oxygen and nutrient supply. Such tissues are a connective tissue have a less abundant supply of the capillaries. The epidermis of the skin, lens and the cornea of the eye, it is completely lack of the capillary network. That means almost 5% of the total blood volume in the systemic capillaries at a given time are provided, and another 10% it is to the lungs. Let's see about the blood pressure. In that, the arterial blood pressure, when the left ventricle ejects blood into the aorta, this aortic pressure rises. The maximal aortic pressure following ejection is termed as a systolic type of a blood pressure. As the left ventricle is relaxing and refilling, the blood pressure in the aorta falls. The lowest pressure in the aorta, which occurs just below before the ventricle, which eject out the blood into the aorta region. These terms are the diastolic pressure. When blood pressure is measured using the sphygmomanometer, the upper value is systolic pressure and the lower value it is diastolic pressure. So normal systolic pressure can be measured is less than 120 mmHg, and the normal diastolic pressure it is less than 80 mmHg. The difference between systolic and diastolic pressure is the aortic pulse pressure.
Let's see about the measurement of the blood pressure. So for measuring the high blood pressure or the low blood pressure, the instrument is used, it is sphygmomanometer. The sphygmomanometer it is an instrument for measuring blood pressure, typically consisting of inflatable rubber cutoff which is applied on arm and connected to the column of the mercury next to the graduated scale, enabling the determination of this systolic and diastolic blood pressure by increasing and gradually after releasing the pressure in the cups.
Let's see about the hypertension. It is one of the disease caused by the blood pressure. The hypertension it is known as a high or the raised blood pressure. In that condition, the blood vessel have persistently raised pressures. The blood is carried from the heart to the all parts of the body through the vessels. Each time the heart beats, it pumps the blood into the blood vessel. The most common cause of the hypertension, which includes smoking, obesity, or the being overweight, the diabetic patient, lack of physical activity, high salt consumption or alcohol intake, insufficient consumption of the calcium, potassium, and the magnesium, and the deficiency of vitamin D, stress, aging, the chronic kidney disease can be very much effective for the hypertension. The coronary arteries are the blood vessel that carries out the blood to the heart, and the coronary artery disease or CAD, it is the narrowing or the blockage of the coronary arteries, and this condition it is usually caused by the atherosclerosis. The atherosclerosis is the buildup of the cholesterol and the fatty deposition or the plaque deposition inside the arteries. These plaque can be clot in the artery region or damage the arteries, and which limits the or stop the blood flow through the arteries, or the chockups are found. If the heart does not get enough oxygenated blood, it cannot get oxygen, so and the nutrients, it need to work properly, and this can be cause a chest pain or angina, or finally it may get the heart attack also. Let's see the electrocardiogram. An electrocardiogram, it is a simple painless test that measures your heart's electrical activity. It is also known as the ECG. Every heartbeat is triggered by the electrical signal from the body, and it starts at the top of your chest region and it travels towards the bottom region. All the heart related problem oftenly affected by the electrical activity in your heart. So some medical practitioners take the help of the electrocardiogram before any analysis. The electrodes are placed on your chest to record your heart electrical signal which cause your heartbeat. The signal are shown as waves on the attached computer monitor. The electrocardiogram records the electrical signal in the waves manner. So the smaller type of a impulse, it amplifies in the larger wave, and it is recorded on the paper. As you see the diagram of the normal electrocardiograph records, so the smaller P wave shows that the atrial depolarization, then the QRS complex representing the ventricular depolarization, and after that T wave, it again representing the ventricular repolarization. In that P, Q, R, S and T, the length of the all depolarization and repolarization is been recorded on the electrocardiograph. Let's see the last topic. It is a lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, it is a part of your immune system, and it has many functions. It includes the protecting your body from the illness causing the invader like the viruses, bacteria and some protozoans. It maintaining the body fluid level also. It absorbing digestive tract fat and removing cellular waste also. It also cures or removes the blockage, some diseases, and the infectious part can be affected your lymphatic system. So these were the major functions are carried out by the lymphatic system. So lymphatic organ can be a bone marrow, thymus, lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are the bean-shaped tissues found along with the lymphatic vessels. Then the spleen, tonsil, and mucous membrane. So these organs can be protected, and they give protection, or it making the more effective immune